The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions of WBGR Network.
I'm bold, I'm strong, I'm bold, I'm strong. I'm bold, I'm strong, I'm bold, I'm strong. This is my self-affirmation. This is my self-affirmation. I am bold, I am strong, I achieve in many folds. I am bold, I am strong, I achieve in many folds. This is my self-affirmation. This is my self-affirmation. I am bold, I am strong, I achieve in many folds. I am bold, I am strong, I achieve in many folds. This is my self-affirmation. If you agree, let me hear you say yeah, 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 yeah. Let me hear you say yeah, 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 yeah. Let me hear you say yeah, 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 yeah. Let me hear you say yeah, 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 yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the second edition, the second showing of our show, Build Locally, Expand Globally. This is a conversation in which we are actually highlighting the local businesses, the local nonprofits that are making a difference in the world, and we expand them into the global arena so that we can have a conversation for what makes the difference around the world for people, and how we can have people thrive, how we can have businesses thrive, how we can as human beings thrive, because we are in the world of peace and prosperity. And this month is Black History Month. It's an opportunity where we get to honor and praise our Black forefathers and mothers who have paved the way for where we are today and what we have achieved. And as an African American by way of the Caribbean, I am so proud and honored to be here with you today and to share with you a conversation that I'm going to have with none other than Mr. Ernest Woodson. He is the CEO of Fathers Incorporated. So before I actually share about Mr. Woodson, I want you to know that there are so many nonprofits in Baltimore and in Maryland that are making a difference. And these nonprofits that I've been highlighting are focused on men and fatherhood, and it's specifically Black men and fathers and young boys who we are sure needs example role models out there so that they can grow into the adult that our forefathers paved the way for us to become. And so I'm so excited and so honored to have this opportunity to once again come present to you and talk to you about a matter, as a topic and a nonprofit that means the world to me and means a lot to me. So I'm going to first of all say, Mr. Woodson, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Dr. Johnson. I appreciate it. I'm humbled and grateful to be here.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I must say that when I met you for the first time and I spoke to you about what you were up to, I was moved to tears that you have spent so many years building a nonprofit that was strictly about fatherhood and making a difference for men, specifically Black men in this country. And so I just want to honor you, and I'm going to share with the audience your bio, a little bit about you, and then I'm going to invite you to share and introduce yourself to the audience. Okay?
Yes.
All right, just one second. So Mr. Ernest Woodson is a federal acquisition consultant and president of the Woodson Consulting Services and founder and president of Fathers Incorporated. This is a 501c3 IRS nonprofit organization located in in Maryland. I think it's in
Upper Marlboro.
Upper Marlboro. And as an acquisition consultant, Mr. Woodson brings over 40 years of federal acquisition and procurement experience to businesses, performing at federal agencies and departments. His consultant practices includes work at the National Institute of Health, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, the U.S. General Services and Small Business Administrations, and the U.S. Information Agency, the Department of Defense, the Treasury, the Health and Human Services, and he is an AFAC Level C3 certified federal contract manager. Incredible. Well done. So as the founder and president of Fathers Incorporated, Mr. Woodson oversees the conduct of 4 programs designed to encourage men and fathers to be responsible and benevolent providers and protectors of the children and families and viable assets to their communities. Mr. Woodson is a certified long-term care ombudsman and advocates for residents' rights in Prince George's County and nursing homes and long-term care facilities. In his spare time, he is a writer of poems and short stories. Well done. And he holds a master's degree in public administration from Southeastern University and a bachelor's degree in organizational management for Columbia Union College. He is a Vietnam-era veteran who served in both the U.S. Air Force and Army. Mr. Woodson was born in Newport News, Virginia, and resides in Mitchellville, Maryland. And he is a father to his son Ramon, a grandfather and uncle to many nieces and nephews. Really, it's an honor and pleasure to have you with us today.
Thank you.
And I know I shared a lot about you, but I'd like you to take a few minutes and share with our audience who you are and how you got started with Fathers Incorporated, and what made you do, what happened, what opened up for you, what breakthrough did you have that have you begin this nonprofit?
Okay.
Okay.
Well, thank you for the introduction, and you got everything right there. Let me start by saying, growing up in Newport News, Virginia, I grew up with a single-parent mother. My mother was a polio victim back in the early 50s. She contracted polio. She had 5 children as a single parent. We all lived in a 3-room house and all slept in the same bed growing up. My dad abandoned us maybe when my mother first contracted polio. He sort of left. So my brother and I sort of grew up as sort of the breadwinners. Even young, we had to find a way to make money, get a job, go to work, help out in the neighborhood. The great thing about the neighborhood I grew up in, there were a lot of men. We had a lot of role models. It was a segregated community, and everybody black lived in the same community. The doctors, the lawyers, everybody who was somebody lived in that black community, so it was easy to find role models, and everybody was willing to help. It was a cooperative, not a competitive environment at that time. So I grew up without my father, but I was inspired by all the other men in my neighborhood who organized sports, who took us to the beach, who organized team sports in the neighborhood. So it was just a great neighborhood, a great community to grow up in Newport News at that time. But I did go on and finish high school, went into a junior college, Thomas Nelson Community College in Newport News, and eventually got drafted to go into the Army during Vietnam War. But I decided to join the Air Force. I didn't want to be in the jungles shooting and killing anyone, so I chose the Air Force, and was the best thing that happened to me. It was one of the best things that I did. It gave me a lot of direction, a lot of foundation. It put me into the acquisition field that I'm in doing today. So I've been doing acquisitions since 1971. But coming back from overseas during the war, I wasn't the best person I could be. I really wasn't. I was sort of lost. I married my high school sweetheart. We had a child. I came back. We were stationed here at Andrews Air Force Base in Maryland. And things started going south in the marriage. We were really in love, but things went south, and she sort of left and decided that, hey, she didn't really want to be a mother, didn't want to be married to me, and I could understand why. So I don't hold that against her at all. Mm-hmm. But as a single parent dad, I'd had no foundation for fatherhood. Mm-hmm. I had a child, but I didn't know too much about being a father. And it was a rude awakening, just waking up one morning and realizing I had a son. Mm. And I had to do everything necessary to be a full-time parent, attend the PTAs, coach the basketball team, do all those kinds of things without any real guidance. And there was none. I was in this town by myself. I didn't have family. And fortunately, I found other men who were like me taking care of their kids, 5. And so we combined forces. We got together and decided to organize ourselves using the skills and the knowledge and experience we had from our mothers, because we all were single, grew up without a dad. And we used the things that we learned from our moms about networking, getting together and sharing. I would take their kids to the basketball games. We just got together and we just sort of worked together. We incorporated ourselves as Fathers Incorporated, and that's how we got the name Fathers Incorporated. And we all teamed together to support each other and raising our kids. We took our kids to Disney World, and we also took other kids in the community to Disney World. And we did that for a number of years, just trying to make a difference. It was just our little group, our little thing. But eventually, we really moved on. As the kids got older, everybody sort of moved their own way. And I thought about the organization. I thought about the need as I see the need today. All the things that's happening, just the destruction of our community. There's so many things that's going on. There's so many things that's wrong. But I thought that if we could just get men to step up to the plate, if we could get them to do what they're supposed to do, their ordained position, stop abdicating their responsibility to family, seize it, take charge of it. If I can build an organization around getting men to understand their true role, to be supportive family members and leaders in their community, I thought I could make a big difference. And that's why we have Fathers Incorporated today as it is today.
Oh my goodness. I just love that. You know what? Your story reminds me of the movie Pursuit of Happiness. That's, Will Smith, in which, he was raising his son on his own and had to struggle through life to raise his son, but eventually succeeded. And I think just the fact that you had gathered other men who are in the same boat, and you guys got together and created a nonprofit so you can make a difference, not just for yourselves, but for other men in the world, is an awesome, awesome undertaking. And I want the world to know about you. I want the world to know that you give out awards to Fathers of the Year. We're going to talk about that right after the commercial break, because we're going to now take a minute and we're going to have a commercial break. We'll be right back with Mr. Ernest Woodson, and he will be talking to us about the nonprofit Fathers Incorporation and all the things that they do in that nonprofit. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Okay.
We're off?
We're off.
How was that?
That was good.
Affirmation.
Welcome back, audience, to our show, Build Locally, Expand Globally. So excited to be here with Mr. Ernest Woodson. He is the CEO, founder of Fatherhood Incorporation, a nonprofit organization in Upper Marlboro that focuses on men being men, and men taking care of each other. And so I would like for you to please give us a little bit of a background of your nonprofit. First of all, define. I think give us a definition of what fatherhood is,
Okay.
and start with that, okay?
Okay, thank you so much. Well, there's a lot of definitions for fatherhood, and I've met young men who believe that their only role is procreation, that they are supposed to produce. And we have some men out here now with maybe 10, 12 babies because they're into procreation. That may be one aspect of being a father, is producing kids, having the ability to do that. But for Fathers Incorporated, our definition of fatherhood is the quality of exercising parental care over persons or promoting the development in others the proper capabilities, values, honor, and respect, and confidence needed to ensure their ability to function within their family, community, and larger society. We think it's important that you do a little bit more than just produce a kid. You have to be able to nurture that kid, and not only your kid, because a father can be a father to anyone, just like a mother can be a mother to anyone. A father can be a father to kids that are not his own. He can be, and they don't have to be kids. We can role model fatherhood to everybody. I use it every day I'm out, and it's modeling and exercising. Just talking to people, but modeling the behavior that you want others to have. And so I liken that to the modeling of Christ himself, the lecture and role modeling, talking and then walking the walk too.
That's great.
So that's what we think.
Well, I think it's great because in your mission, I think your mission is very cool. So would you read us your mission here? Because it's really awesome the way you highlight the mission of the organization so that people understood the different levels of fatherhood.
Sure, thank you. Yep. Our mission is to promote the traditional values of brotherhood, manhood, fatherhood, and gentlemanship. And we believe that, we all have a process. Before you get to that period of being a father, you need to go through the period of being a young man, the brotherhood aspect, running with your peers and sort of testing your skills out there on the basketball court. Those kinds of things are important in development. And then you move to this phase of manhood where you're not necessarily running with your peers anymore. You sort of put that behind and you're sort of finding yourself, your own direction, being a man, growing up. And then the next step we think should be fatherhood. Once you become a man, once you've checked all those blocks, you got everything done, all the things that's necessary to make you who you are. You become one with yourself. You're not splintered. Your body's over here, your mind's over here, you bring all that together, you become one. And that's when you have manhood to us. That's what manhood is all about. And then you can move into fatherhood because then you have the ability to nurture a child and be a father to everyone in your community. And the last aspect of that is gentlemanship. Well, we think that gentlemanship can flow through all three of those things. You can be a gentleman even as a young boy, even as a man, as a father.
Absolutely.
You still need to be a gentleman. You need that meekness, that humbleness about yourself where you can relate to all people and welcome everyone into your life.
That's beautiful. As you were talking, I was thinking of just, the things that we do as women. We have a lot of women's club around the world. But most people is not aware that there are men's groups that are moving mountains. And I think what you're sharing is an example of how the man movement, the father movement, is a big deal And more of us should learn about it and actually, embrace what it is that you're teaching, so that the community learns from men as well as women, which is usually a lot of times mainly the role models that we highlight a lot as well as women. So I'm excited to be here with you. I want to mention to the audience that on February 17, Mr. Woodson is going to join the Men and Family Center in Baltimore, East Baltimore. He's going to join our panel discussion around fathers and fatherhood, and that discussion is going to be a webinar that's going to start at 6:30, and it's going to go to 8:30 p.m. on February 17th this year. So it's in a few weeks, in another week actually. So I'm so delighted about that. So we're going to get back to you and the topic of Fathers Incorporated. Incorporation. You tell me about the award program that you offer, and tell me a little bit about the programs that you offer, but specifically that. Yeah.
Sure. We have three real programs that we try to manage. The first one, and the one that we're really sort of known for, is the Father of the Year Award. Going back a little bit, we talked about fathers and how fathers should interact with their children in the community and be a good husband to their wives as well. And that's very important. We want to build family and community. So we're not trying to encourage men to go out and produce babies and walk away. We want them to have a family, stay in that family, and be a part of the community as well. So the Father of the Year Award recognizes a father who's doing just that. We just had our first award in Washington, D.C., and this award gives up to $2,000 to the deserving father.
Wow.
It's a competition, one award to a deserving father who, through a nomination process, is selected as the most deserving father out of all the nominations we received. So it's up to $2,000, and then we send that family to Disney World. Right now, because of COVID, though, we didn't send anyone to Disney World, so we just gave a monetary award. We plan to duplicate this award in Baltimore. We want to encourage all the Baltimore residents to go to our website, download that nomination form, and submit it. January through March 31st is the kickoff. That's our Get the Word Out campaign. The nominations are due on the 31st of March. And we'll make the award during the Father's Day weekend, June 19th, something like that. I think it's June 19th or 20th. We'll make the award to that deserving father in the presence of his family. Hopefully we'll be able to do it in a forum. If COVID provides and let up, we'll be able to do it in a forum. If not, we'll find another means to make sure that it's publicly announced. The other program we have is a returning citizen program, where we try to help men who are returning from being incarcerated. We try to help them reunite with their family, because sometimes after years they lose contact with their family, lose contact with relatives, and so when they come out, they're sort of isolated. They're by themselves, and the only thing that happens is they go right back in, because they have no means of survival out here in this world, unless they have contacts, people who care and want to bring them back in. So we try to open that door for returning citizens as well. The other program we have is an intergenerational program, where we try to bring in, and I use the word prominent, but we try to bring in successful senior citizens and bring them into the classroom and talk to sixth graders about their life, their journey, and how they got to be where they are. So we have the first black CIA spy manager with us. He's the rock star of the group. He was with Dr. King when King received the Nobel Peace Prize.
Oh, wonderful.
And so he talks to the class about his life and his journey. One of the good things about him is he shares from a childhood how he got to be the person that he is today. And it was through talking to the elders, listening to the older people in his community who gave him advice and guidance. Dr. Johnson, today we have the internet, and we have all these things that give out information.
Right.
So the whole village focus of the elders talking to kids and raising them up and giving them information. That's sort of lost today because kids go to the internet. You can't tell them nothing now. They go to the internet and they get it right off the internet.
They get it from the internet. Everything is there, which is it's good and it has its negatives, right? So I really totally understand. Well, Mr. Woodson, would you share with the audience how they can reach you? What the contact information? Do you want to have? Maybe we can have this up a bit, but
sure.
I think
absolutely.
The website and number. Yeah.
Sure, please reach out to me. Contact me. My email address is Ernest ERNEST Woodson at fathersincorporated.net. That's Ernest Woodson at fathersincorporated.net. You can go to the website. It's https://fathersincorporated.net. You can Google up fathersincorporated.net. Please do Google up fathersincorporated.net. And my telephone number, office is 866-812-7440.
Wow.
I look forward to hearing from you, and especially about the Father of the Year Award in Baltimore. On the website, there's some Q&A that will answer any questions you may have. If they're not there, call me directly, email me. I want to hear from you. I'd like to know what we can do to make a difference in the lives of the people you know, especially men.
Beautiful. Well done, Mr. Woodson. I just love the fact that you have this program available. We are going to be honoring men. We're going to look at the opportunity to give them an award, and you'll find a medium. You will be on our webinar for Men and Family Center coming up on the 17th. And I know we will hear more we will see you in the future and hear more from you on this topic and the importance of fatherhood in our community. And as we wrap up, I'm going to actually end with a poem. And the poem, I will put my glasses back on so I can just read it well. But the poem is called, You Think You Know Me, But You Don't. So here's the poem that was sent to me and written from someone that I know very well, and he sent it to me as a gift. But I think it was an opportunity for me to just embrace who he is. He just wanted everyone in the world to know that he himself is different. We are all different, but you don't know who we are individually. So he says, you see the color of my skin and you think you know me, but you don't. You see me as part of a political party, you think you know me, but you don't. You see the gender of my life partner and you think you know me, but you don't. You see the house I live in, the car I drive, where I live, you think you know me, but you don't. You see my finances and you think you know me, but you don't. You see my country of origin and you think you know me, but you don't. You see my church and you think you know me, but you don't. You see my career and you think you know me, but you don't. You see my physical appearance and you think you know me, but you don't. You look at me and in an instant you decide everything you know about me, but you don't know me. Really, you don't. But maybe, just maybe, if you and I could have a conversation, could start a dialogue, we could break free from all the preconceptions and beliefs we have about each other. And maybe, just maybe, you and I could discover another human being with a heart, with a mind, with a concern for the same things I'm concerned about. And maybe, just maybe, in that moment, we could be one. Thank you, everyone. We love being with you. Thank you for being with us. You're a delight to be with. And we honor and praise each and every one of you out there in our audience across the United States, in Baltimore and Maryland, all over the world, internationally, wherever you are. Have a blessed day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.